I didn't even get a chance to breathe before he spoke. The cafe buzzed around a soft jazz from overhead speakers, the rich aroma of espresso mingling with the sweet scent of pastries. I had barely taken 2 steps toward the table when Ethan Reed looked up from his untouched cappuccino, eyes flat, expression rehearsed. "We need to talk," he said. My stomach sank. Every instinct screamed to run, to bolt, but I sat anyway, palms clammy against the smooth wooden table. "What's going on?" I asked, forcing a shaky smile. He didn't answer immediately. Instead, he reached into his coat pocket and set a small velvet box on the table, not to give it, but to take something away. "I can't marry you." "Sophie," he said. 7 words. Sharp, cold. They cut deeper than I'd ever imagined. "What?" I whispered, disbelief locking my throat. Ethan leaned back as if the burden of truth had finally freed him. "It's not you. It's us. We're heading in different directions. I've made connections, important ones. Madeline, Lay, and I. We're aligned in ways I hadn't realized before." Madeline Langley, the name alone, made my chest constrict. Daughter of the powerful tech investor who practically ruled the West Coast startup world. My mind raced. "You're leaving me for her?" I asked, my voice barely audible. "It's not like that," he said, though his words lied as clearly as his actions. "This is better for both of us. You deserve someone simpler." I stared, stunned, silent. 16 days until the wedding, and the man I trusted had erased me from his life cleanly, methodically. "And the ring," he added. "It's a family heirloom. My grandmother would be devastated if it left the family." Hands trembling, I slid it off and placed it gently on the table. "Thank you for your honesty," I said, my voice steadier than I felt. And I walked away past the curious glances, past the couples sharing desserts, past the life I thought I had. By the time I turned the corner on street, the tears came. I didn't go back to our apartment, couldn't face the half-packed boxes or the wedding dress still hanging in the closet. Someone had already taken care of my things, neatly packed into labeled suitcases. Clothing, books, toiletries all returned to me like I was a misplaced package. Not by Ethan. He wouldn't have been that considerate. I had to be his mother. I sat on the floor beside those bags, feeling smaller than ever. My studio lease had ended weeks ago. Every cent I had saved had gone to the wedding. Less than $100 in my account. 1 week until payday. I did the only thing I hadn't done in over a year. I called my foster mom. Margaret Temple answered on the 3rd ring, warm and steady as ever. "Sophie, honey, where have you been?" I was just about to call about those shoes we looked at last week. I couldn't speak. Only a choked sob came out, and that was enough. An hour later, I was curled on her faded plaid couch, clutching a mug of peppermint tea as she smoothed my hair like she had when I was 13. "Stay as long as you need," she said, placing a thick blanket over my legs. "You've got nothing to prove." That night, I couldn't sleep. My mind replayed Ethan's words, his calm, cruel efficiency. Had he ever really loved me? Or was I just a placeholder until someone with a last name like Langley came along? By sunrise, the ache in my chest dulled into something heavier: shame, humiliation, an annoying sense of failure. At noon, I showered, dressed, and returned to the hospital as if nothing had happened. Nurses smiled, asked about the wedding plans. I smiled back, nodded, lied. Told them Ethan had a business trip, said the wedding was postponed, that I was fine. Too much. 3 days passed in slow agony. On the 3rd day, while checking in for room 8, Rachel, our blunt charge nurse, pulled me aside, still waiting for a miracle escape. She asked, eyebrow raised, "What?" I blinked. "You remember Lily from Neuro? She took a private care job last month, high pay, live-in. Quit last week. Couldn't handle the patient." "What patient?" "Some rich tech mogul, paralyzed. Lives in Cypress Hill. Pays triple what we make here. No night shifts. One patient, live-in suite, meals included. You're stubborn. Might actually work in your favor. Her words echoed, escape. I took a deep breath. 10 minutes later, she handed me a card. Margaret Temple, estate manager. A phone number beneath. By midnight, I called. Margaret picked up immediately. Is this Sophie Bennett? I was told there's a position for a live-in nurse. Yes. I'm available. Interview tomorrow at 9 a.m. Don't be late. Address will be texted. The next morning, I boarded a flight from Helena to San Francisco, then a shuttle climbing the hills of Cyprus until the city disappeared beneath clouds. Everything felt surreal. The house was a fortress, glass, steel, and sharp edges carved into the cliffside, catching sunlight like a diamond. A long black gate swung open as my cab approached. Margaret Temple met me at the door, impeccably dressed, thin and precise, assessing me like she weighed my worth. You're early, good, follow me. The interview was brief. Round-the-clock availability. 2 days off per month. No visitors. Medical knowledge crucial. Discretion non-negotiable. Patient is complicated. Meals and lodging included. Salary $12,000 per month plus performance bonus. I gripped the chair to keep from laughing. Triple what I made at the hospital. No plan, no strategy. Just a duffel bag and a broken heart. But I said yes. Next morning, standing outside Ryan Hale's suite, heart thudding, I signed the contract. Margaret knocked twice, opened the door. The room was vast. Sunlight spilled across pale hardwood floors, glass walls overlooking redwood trees. And there he was, Ryan Hall, mid-30s, sleek wheelchair. Short dark hair, cut glass eyes. Exhausted and sharp. They sent me another one, he muttered, voice low. Testing me. I'm here to do my job, I said, steady. Medication, vitals, physical therapy support your rehabilitation. He smirked. Most crack by day 3. Maybe you'll surprise me. And so began our silent war the first day. Stiff, careful, each Barbie through, each silent test I endured. I had seen worse, survived worse. He wouldn't break me. That night, in the howling wind, I spotted light in the West Wing gym. Peeking through the door, I froze. Ryan was standing half, unsteady, gripping parallel bars, sweat dripping, muscles taut. I gasped. He turned, rage flashing. What the hell are you doing? Helping? I whispered. He clenched the bars. Progress scares people. Better they think I've given up. Something shifted in me. This wasn't hopelessness. It was hidden strength. And for the first time in days, I felt a spark of purpose. The next morning, I stood outside Ryan Hale's suite, folder in hand, heart hammering. The hallway was unnervingly silent, thick carpet swallowing every footstep. The house felt more like a museum than a home, pristine, polished, expensive silence hanging in the air. Margaret Temple, precise as ever, stood beside me, clipboard pressed to her chest. You sure you want this? She asked without looking at me. Double quotes, yes, I said, swallowing hard. She nodded, knocking twice before opening the door. Inside, sunlight streamed through floor-to-ceiling windows, casting pale gold across the hardwood floors. Ryan sat by the window in his sleek black wheelchair, hands resting lightly on the armrests, eyes like cut glass assessing me before I even spoke. Your new nurse has arrived. Sophie Bennett, Margaret said crisply. He didn't turn immediately. Finally, pivoting slowly, he said, voice low and biting, they sent me another one. How long before you quit? I'm not here to quit, I said evenly. I'm here to do my job. Medications, vitals, physical therapy, rehabilitation support. That's it. He raised an eyebrow. Most of them break by day 3. Maybe you'll be different. Maybe not. I didn't flinch. I'd seen worse, teenagers screaming through morphine highs, veterans fighting for every limb. Ryan Hawley wouldn't scare me. The first day passed in tense silence. Every movement carefully observed, every word weighed. He made small, biting comments, testing my patience, but I held my ground. When evening came, he spoke quietly as I prepared his room. "You're not what I expected," he said. I looked up from the drawer I was organizing. "No, I suppose not." "You don't know about the accident," he said finally. "I figured you'd tell me when you were ready," I replied. Another pause. Then he spoke. "Ski trip. Solo lost control. Helicopter rescue. Haven't walked unassisted since." I nodded. "Thank you for telling me." His gaze lingered, sharp, as if measuring my reaction. "Why this job?" he asked. I met his eyes. "Because I've been lied to. Because I know what it's like to be thrown away." For a moment, I saw something break in him, a crack in the carefully built wall of exhaustion and bitterness. Then he turned back to the window. "Don't get attached," he muttered. "I don't do gratitude or friendship." "Good," I said softly. "I don't do illusions." That night, the wind howled like a restless spirit outside the windows. I wasn't supposed to be awake, but something drew me toward the West Wing gym, an area Ryan rarely allowed alone. Peeking through the slightly open door, I froze. Ryan was standing, not fully, not unassisted, gripping the parallel bars, sweat dripping, muscles taut. He hadn't noticed me at first, so determined, so quiet in his struggle. The creak of the door gave me away. He turned, fury flashing. "What the hell are you doing?" He barked. "Helping," I whispered. His hands clenched tighter. Progress scares people. Better they think I've given up. Something shifted in me. Hidden strength, not hopelessness. He was teaching me, without words, the quiet defiance it took to reclaim your life. The following days became a rhythm of small victories. Medication administration, physical therapy, gentle encouragement, and careful observation. Each day, his stress grew incrementally, cautiously. Then came the day he allowed me into his business world. He had hidden more than just physical progress. Ryan Howley was a force in the tech industry, CEO of Howley Technologies, but his accident had left him vulnerable. Hidden agendas, greedy investors, and corporate sharks circling like predators. I quickly realized my nursing role extended beyond physical care. I became a confidant, a silent observer, a witness to meetings with his business partner, Eric Thorne. Eric's charm was polished. Dangerous, a man who smiled while plotting. "You'll need to keep an eye on him," Ryan whispered one evening after Eric left. "Everyone thinks I'm weak, sidelined. They don't know what I'm capable of." "I'm counting on you to notice things, Sophie." I nodded, heart pounding. Responsibility mixed with fear and determination. The stakes were higher than life itself. Days turned into weeks. Our routine solidified. Ryan's progress, though painstaking, was undeniable. We established unspoken rules: trust, honesty, patience. Then, the whispers of betrayal I'd hoped I'd left behind resurfaced. Megan Langley, the woman Ethan left me for, had connections, deep ones. Through office chatter, overheard phone calls, and subtle slips of conversation, it became clear Langley Capital had been attempting to seize control of Ryan's company during his recovery. I shared everything with him, names, dates, phrases. Ryan listened, silent at first, then eyes narrowing. "You're right," he said finally. "Langley Capital isn't just investing. They're trying to control the company." "Then we stop them," I said, resolute. He handed me a folder filled with contracts, hidden agreements, emails. My pulse quickened. I had never anticipated this. A nurse turned investigator. But something in me, the broken heart, the survival instinct, the fire ignited by betrayal, knew I could do this. Over the next week, nights stretched into strategy sessions. Ryan, still weak but sharp, pored over every detail. I documented, cross-referenced, double-checked. The house became a war room. Every decision calculated, every move deliberate. We've been too trusting, Ryan said one night, exhausted. I let Eric speak for me. I let my guard down. But not anymore. I watched him, all mixed with admiration. From fragile to formidable. From broken to relentless. I realized then that this wasn't just about nursing care, it was about partnership. Strategy and survival. The turning point came at a board meeting. Ryan had rehearsed, practiced walking with a cane, standing tall, projecting authority. We arrived 15 minutes early. Silence fell as heads turned. Shock rippled like electricity. Eric's smile faltered. Lavra Langley, poised and confident, looked incredulous. And Ethan, I didn't expect him. Standing there, smaller, smug, yet less polished. Ryan walked to the head of the table, cane in hand, folder in place. This meeting is under my authority, he announced calmly. He laid out every forged trail, backdoor contract, an attempted takeover, gasps, murmurs, chaos. Eric faltered, Laura scoffed. But Ryan remained composed. And your nurse? Laura spat. She's my co-strategist, Ryan said, voice steady. The reason I stand here today? Victory was ours. Contracts nullified. Control restored. Eric removed. Weeks passed. The mansion no longer felt like a mausoleum. Sunlight poured through open windows. Gardens thrived. Ryan's progress continued, both physically and emotionally. Our bond built on trust, respect, and shared adversity grew stronger. The weeks after the boardroom victory were surreal. Hale Nexus Technologies was secure. Eric Thorne removed. Contracts nullified. Langley Capital sidelined. But the real work wasn't in the conference rooms, it was in the quiet spaces of the mansion, where Ryan Hale and I began navigating life beyond fear and betrayal every morning. Sunlight spilled across the private trail behind the house, glinting through redwoods. Ryan was walking more confidently, steps measured, his cane only an accessory now. We didn't rush our routines. There were no grand gestures, no dramatic declarations. Just slow mornings, coffee in hand, silent laughter at burnt breakfast. He insisted on cooking despite his lack of skill. One evening, he handed me a plate of something unrecognizable, muttering, "If this kills you, I want it on record." I laughed. "You'll get the company in the will," I teased. "Actually," he said, eyes glinting, "I transferred it to a trust. One that includes you." My heart skipped. "What?" "I didn't just rebuild the company," he said gently. "I built something better with you, and I want you to be part of what's next." Weeks passed and our bond deepened. Trust solidified into intimacy, mutual respect evolving into something neither of us had expected. I rediscovered parts of myself I thought were lost, the laughter, the courage, the quiet confidence that comes from surviving heartbreak and betrayal. Then came the night that changed everything. Ryan called me into the study after dinner. Candlelight flickered across the polished oak table. He pulled a small black box from his pocket. My breath caught. "Before you say anything," he said quickly, "you don't have to answer today or this year. I know I'm still learning to be whole, and you didn't sign up for this." He opened the box. Inside was a delicate ring, simple gold with a tiny sapphire at its center. "Will you consider walking this road with me?" he asked softly. "Not because I need saving, but because with you, I remember who I am." I didn't cry. I felt something steadier arrival, a quiet certainty. I slid the ring onto my finger. "I'm not saying yes," I whispered, smiling, "but I'm not saying no." He laughed, and it was genuine, full. Relief, pride, and affection mingled in that sound, and I realized that for the first time, we were standing together, unbroken by past betrayals. Life continued in quiet, profound ways. Ryan's therapy progressed. He no longer needed his wheelchair. I pursued my nursing certifications and opened my private practice within the mansion, hiring staff and building a team that reflected my values: integrity, resilience, compassion. The mansion, once cold and unwelcoming, became a home filled with warmth, laughter, and shared purpose. The garden bloomed under our care. Sunlight poured through windows that were no longer closed in silent suspicion. Ryan began cooking more intentionally, even if it meant occasional disasters in the kitchen. We laughed through burnt toast, overcooked pasta, and stubborn attempts at soufflés. These small, imperfect moments became our rituals, symbols of life reclaimed and joy rediscovered. As for the past, it faded, not forgotten, but acknowledged as the catalyst for growth. Ethan Miller, who had broken my heart, sent a brief text months later asking if I was okay. I didn't reply. I didn't need to. The heartbreak had served its purpose. It had led me to this life, this clarity, this partnership with Ryan. One crisp autumn afternoon, Ryan and I walked along the coastal cliffs, sand clinging to our shoes, wind biting at our cheeks. He stopped, gazing at the horizon, the sun painting the sky in deep golds and oranges. "You think we'll ever go back to who we were?" he asked quietly. I shook my head. "I hope not." He turned to me, eyes softening. "Why not?" "Because who we've become is better," I replied. He reached for my hand, and we walked in silence. Each step a testament to resilience, to trust, to love rediscovered. Back at the mansion, life settled into a rhythm of shared mornings and quiet nights. Ryan's rehabilitation sessions became lighter, less about struggle and more about mastery. My private practice flourished, and together, we began hosting wellness retreats and mentoring programs for young nurses, passing on lessons of endurance, compassion, and professional growth. Our story wasn't perfect. Pain hadn't vanished entirely. Shadows lingered from past betrayals, moments of doubt, and memories of heartbreak. But we faced them openly together. Our bond was rooted not in dramatic declarations or fleeting passion, but in patience, resilience, and an unwavering commitment to growth, personal, professional, and emotional. One evening, as we sat on the terrace overlooking the ocean, Ryan turned to me. "I never thought I'd walk again," he said softly. "I never thought I'd trust anyone again. But with you," his voice faltered, then steadied, "I can see a future worth fighting for." I smiled, squeezing his hand. "We've already fought for it, every day, in every small way." And in that quiet moment, with the ocean stretching infinitely before us, I realized something profound. Life isn't about avoiding heartbreak. It's about rising from it, stronger, wiser, and ready to embrace the love, challenges, and victories waiting ahead. Ryan and I didn't rush into grand declarations or public celebrations. Our joy was private, earned, and deep. Every step, every day, every laugh marked a victory over the past, a life reclaimed, a heart restored. By winter, Ryan no longer needed his cane. By spring, our mansion was alive with light, laughter, and possibility. We built a life together rooted in partnership, respect, and shared triumphs. Our love wasn't a fairy tale, it was a testament to resilience, to second chances, and to the courage it takes to keep walking even when the path seems impossible. And for me, Sophie Bennett, the woman once discarded, broken, and heartbroken, I have finally found my place, not in someone else's life, not in an ill-fated engagement, but in a life I had helped build, with a man who had fought as fiercely as I had. Side by side, we didn't just survive. We thrived together.